Okay, Mandy, this is the refrigerant cycle. I'm going to go over this, watch it over and over, and then call and ask me questions. Okay, so this is an upflow system. So imagine this is the basement of a house. There is the furnace on the bottom. It's an upflow, so the coil, and the coil that's inside is called an evaporator coil. I have it there, evaporator coil. Okay, these are basically the refrigerant lines. This is the line set, call it that, a couple different names. And they connect into the outdoor coil, which also has a coil. So this is one of the first things that gets real confusing when you're, dealing with parts and things like that. This is an outdoor coil, but that's also an indoor coil. This one is shaped like an upside down V, or like it's also called an A coil. Sometimes you see them as an N coil. Anyway, this is the outdoor coil, and I'll show you outside more about this. On the outdoor coil is the compressor. It is the heart of the system. We'll cover that. It's very, very heavy. It's what makes the AC heavy. So an important part in the indoor evaporator coil is the TXV, or the metering device, okay? On the outdoor coil, another piece that you'll hear about compressor, you're gonna hear about the outdoor coil, but you're also gonna hear about this little thing called a filter dryer. It is a filter that is filtering all of the refrigerant that is going through this cycle. I'm going to explain how you have two different lines. The fat line is holding gas. The skinny line is holding liquid. So the whole system of the refrigerant is a closed system, okay? So it should never have a leak, but basically it is over and over and over cycling. Think of it's going in as a gas in the fat line, comes in, gets changed in here into a liquid, goes back here as a liquid, comes into this one, is changed into a gas again, goes back out, and it cycles nonstop. And it's doing that. And every time it's running through, that filter dryer is filtering it. Now, how is it changing back and forth? Okay, this is a gas. The reason why it's a gas is because the furnace fan, even though it's just room temperature air, it actually changes the liquid refrigerant into a gas, because in our minds, we're going to think of that it's boiling it, but it's not boiling it at water temperature. It's at a refrigerant level. So some fluids will turn to a gas and boil at much lower temperatures. That's why the whole dynamic of this is cold. So anyway, think of it as it boils it. It boils it, turns it into a gas. It goes up here all through the fat line. When it comes down here, this is called the condenser coil. I have it down here, sorry, because it condenses it. So think of, water vapor condenses on a glass, and then you have liquid water on the outside of your glass, like an ice cube with water on the, that kind of a situation. So once it condenses, because this fan, there's a fan in here blowing hot air. So whenever you put your hand over your air conditioner outside, it feels hot. It's blowing off all the hot air, which in a sense cools the gas and changes it back into a liquid. So it turns back around and into a liquid. I'm going to stop here.